Some people are remembered for what they achieved. Some are remembered for what they owned. And then there are people who are barely remembered at all. Not because they didn't matter, but because they spent their entire lives making sure everyone else did. This is one of those lives. She was a young woman living in a small village, not married yet, not settled, not sure where her life was heading, but already tired in ways people didn't expect someone her age to be. She lived in a modest house at the edge of the village, the kind of place people passed every day without noticing, just like her. Everyone knew her as the helpful one, the one you could rely on. Can you watch the children for a while? Can you help my mother this evening? Can you cook something quickly? She always said yes. At first, it felt good to be trusted, to be needed, to feel useful in a place where opportunities were few. Slowly, being needed became her role, and without realizing it, it became her entire identity. Her days were filled with other people's lives. She woke early to help in houses that weren't her own. She cooked meals she barely sat down to eat. She listened to worries she had no power to fix. People thanked her sometimes. Mostly they assumed she would always be there. And she was, because saying no felt selfish, and she didn't want to be seen that way. She had dreams once, simple ones, learning something new, traveling beyond the village, building a life that belonged to her. But those dreams were always postponed. After this work, after helping them, after things settled down. Things never settled. What no one noticed was the cost, the exhaustion that didn't match her age, the evenings she spent alone, too tired to think, the quiet frustration she never spoke about. She wasn't unhappy, but she wasn't living either. She was surviving on responsibility. Then one day, her body stopped cooperating. She felt dizzy, weak, nothing dramatic, just enough to slow her down. She stayed home, expecting someone to check on her. No one did. Everyone assumed she was busy helping someone else. That night, lying alone in her room, she understood something painful. Being useful does not mean being valued. As days passed in silence, she had time to think, time she had never allowed herself before. She replayed her life, every yes that cost her energy, every moment she ignored her own needs, every time she believed love meant availability. And she asked herself a question she had avoided for years. Who am I when I stop being useful to everyone else? When she returned to her routine, people noticed something different. She paused before answering requests. Sometimes she still helped. Sometimes she didn't. The reactions came quickly. She's changed. She used to be kinder. She wasn't like this before. The words hurt, but they also opened her eyes. She realized something important. People loved her kindness, not always her presence. Not everyone stayed. Some people disappeared the moment she stopped overgiving. But a few remained, not because they needed help, but because they wanted her company. They talked, they laughed, they asked how she was doing. It felt strange at first, and then freeing. Her strength changed. Before, her strength was endurance. Now it was self-respect. Before, she measured her worth by how much she gave. Now she measured it by how honestly she lived. She wasn't rude. She wasn't cold. She was balanced. And balance felt like something she had never been taught. One evening, she sat outside her house watching the sky change colors. She thought about the girl she used to be. Always available, always apologizing, always last. She didn't judge herself. She understood her. That girl thought love meant sacrifice without limits. Now she knew better. She didn't leave the village. She didn't become famous. But she built a life that included herself. She rested when she was tired. She helped when she truly wanted to. She protected her time like something valuable. Because it was. And when people spoke about her later, they didn't say she was always there. They said she knew how to care, for others and for herself. If you give everything you have just to be accepted, one day you may forget who you were trying to save. Make sure it isn't you.